Welcome. Thank you for joining me today. Today's topic is, does your business need CPR? Before we get started, though, please let me just introduce myself. My name is Kraft, and I am the founder of Kraft Bravery and Your Business, dedicated to being an agent of change with businesses and individuals who are ready to take it to another level. I have spent over 20 years doing this as a business leader, working with startups and large corporations, and have executed change for companies such as Massachusetts Teachers Association, John Hancock PNC, General Electric's Electric Insurance, and Morton Salt CBD, just to name a few. In 2010, I broke away from big business and combined my leadership and mentoring skills with coaching and began focusing on entrepreneurs and small business. Since then, I've helped businesses and individuals realize their potential and propel forward in their goals. Today is all about crafting your company's annual review for the health of your organization. So, what are the keys to crafting health? There are just a few steps you should be taking at the end of your business year to assess the health of your organization and ensuring the activities are directed at the core mission, your why. The purpose of your company's existence should be what every activity supports, promotes, and enhances. So the question is CPR really needed? How do you know if your business is healthy or if there are hidden dis-ease within it? Today, we will cover the key elements of the annual checkup. So the annual review for a business should include clients, vendors, employees, perspectives, and market trends. Analysis also follows. How does this information measure up? And does this support your mission in the healthiest way possible? Strategy. Based on this information, what are the next steps for change and growth? Process. Who, where, how, what needs to be brought on board to make this strategy actually happen? And then, most importantly, risk. Be honest and assess the risk to the success and determine strategies to respond to it. The annual review process. Just like assessing your employees' performance or any vendors, your business performance also needs assessing. Many sole entrepreneurs and small business owners kind of skip this step in a fear of hearing criticism. But critique is an opportunity to hear another perspective before that eats away at your reputation potentially and your ability to grow. So here is a list of the steps taken during the business annual review checkup. Survey, number one. So survey your customers, survey your employees, survey your suppliers, and be sure that the questions line up with each other so you're asking the same questions just from a different perspective so you can measure them and bump them up against each other. Then internal reviews. Your employees are getting reviewed as well, so you want to see how that's going. External reviews. Competition needs to be viewed, industry trends, economic climate, technology, innovation, what's going on externally. And then back to your internal reviews so they get the goals, the key metrics, stakeholder satisfaction, that's internally, and expert reviews. So you want financial reviews, legal reviews. So even though that might be internal, you might want to get some external information. So some things that are reviewed and assessed during this process might be your achievement of your current goals this past year. Okay, how has that gone for you? Key performance measures and trends. Have you been measuring and how's that been going? Stakeholder satisfaction, which we've covered with the surveys. Financial conditions and control, so you're outside experts. Information technology, also outside experts. Your risk, your insurance, any legal information, any legal issues, inside or outside. And then you want an expert to help you kind of facilitate all of this. Outside experts are awesome. So you want to compile this information. So gather the previous information, recap the external trends, recap the survey results, take a look at the individual performance results. You've gathered all of the information. It's now time to pull it together and review. So what's the doctor's reports? The results of both the review, your analysis, your risks, and the impacts are all now pulled together for the doctor's report. The results, this is the perfect time now to bring an outside expert in to help you with the analysis and recommendations. Resources such as a coach who will help you go through the process and make your own assessment. They'll help you. Or consultants who will bump your results up against industry averages and make recommendations based on that data. Or your internal staff, your internal resources, where those internal to the culture of your company can assess what this information might mean to you. So you want to meet with the team, you want to review each item with the leadership team and with your staff, with customers. You want to compare the results to your mission, to your value statements. And again, determine that whatever changes you make align with the organization. After your results, you've got strategy. So you review your company's why. What is the mission and your vision? What is your purpose? Based on your current culture and your vision and your mission, what changes make sense moving forward? Do you need to make changes, or are you spot on track? Are there changes, other activities that kind of need to come in to be supportive of the current activities? Do you need to stop some of the current activities that are no longer serving the mission? Or is there leakage in your activities? Are you leaking money? Are you leaking time and resources? Are you missing opportunities? Where do you want to be in the marketplace? What is the company's long-term vision or exit strategy? All of these elements are key consideration when you're determining the projects to start, to stop, or to enhance moving forward. So you've figured out your strategy, you've got your new projects. Now what are the steps that you need to take to stay on track? A plan, like anything in life, has unexpected interruptions and derailments. A healthy organization has a process in place to maneuver through these bumps and to assess if the project or activity has value in order to continue on. So be crystal clear on the ultimate goal. Be sure your why, and I keep saying that, but be sure it's clear, crystal clear, and makes sense, and what you're doing lines up. Practice being honest in your communication with the goals. Leaders can't make assessments if they don't have all of the information and have it honestly and openly. Now select achievable and realistic projects and objectives. Commit to what can be done. Have successes under your belt this year. Determine what to stop doing or to outsource. If you're adding onto the plate, you need to take something away. What's the takeaway? And be aware of when you're off track. You want to monitor your metrics diligently and adjust, and then recommit. Strategy and execution now follow. So your mission and values and vision are clear and they make sense. Goals align with the mission and the vision. Goals are balanced among finance, customer, production, and people. It's the KPI balanced scorecard process, a system to review innovation and changes in place. Sometime during the year, some ideas might come up. You don't initiate ideas just at the end of the year. Something new might come up that absolutely makes sense. Some may absolutely not make sense. What's your criteria to assess new ideas, to say yes or no to? Make sure that your strategy is written down and it's accessible to all employees. Everyone sees it. They know where they're going. There's a purpose to them being there. And your strategy is simple and succinct, because then you're able to execute the strategy. So now you've planned it, you thought about it, you pulled it together, you planned it, and you're ready to do it. So clear measures of success. When something is done, how do I know? There's a defined process. Yes, a defined process as well, but a defined process that is a result. It's results focused. So it's not tactically focused, it's results focused. The target customer is clear. You know who it is that you want to impact. People understand the strategy, and goals are communicated, and they're communicated frequently and adequately. You don't just talk about the goals at the beginning of the year or at quarterly review. It's got to be part of your culture, ingrained in what you're talking about, ingrained in what you're doing. People, systems, processes, policies, capital, all are aligned with the strategy and fully support the values and the vision. Fully support. People see how to contribute and have the environment to tap into their own creative abilities. So that what that means is they see the vision, they have the ability to partake in this execution process, and they have the ability to contribute to new ideas. They have a system that supports them in doing this. And there's a reward system that again aligns with the goals, and it's frequent and it's fun. Absolutely have fun. And I will tell you one little story. I have so many where I just have fun. I've always had fun with my staff. I've always had fun with my peers. I've always had fun with my managers and senior leadership. So I had one group one time that had to be incredibly creative. They were a training group, they were a resource group, they were key liaisons to operations. They had a lot of responsibility on their plate, and they had to always look for better ways to do things. And so we would get together once a month for our full team blowout meeting. I'd block out 2 hours. The first hour, food would be brought in, and we would just hang around and kind of chit-chat and talk about what's going on. The second hour to hour and a half, we played Pictionary. It had nothing to do with strategy. The purpose was to blow off steam. The purpose was to get to know each other at a different level. The purpose was to just have fun and celebrate that we just had a month of activities. And we would talk about the month, but absolutely celebrate. Be sure that there's fun, a ton of fun in your life and at work. And then there's risk. One of the factors we covered here was risk. Now, during the risk assessment process, you did identify risks that you are aware of. You developed a strategy for what to do when the risk trigger actually occurs, and you know that the risk is going to be realized. You also discussed how to measure the success of reducing or eliminating the impact of that risk. But there's another risk, and that's the unknown risks. Some things that could impact your business, I don't know, could be an economic impact. War, natural disasters impact businesses directly or indirectly. There may also be a change in technology that would impact what you're currently doing. Or there might be a scandal in your business arena that might change the perception of how your business is perceived. The point is, we can only plan for what we foresee. But if we have a process in place to quickly assess a risk's impact. The moment it is known and develop a sound strategy, then that process is essential to your business, and you will have the ability to be agile. You will have the ability to adjust. You will have the ability to bring in new information and for your business to survive. So a risk assessment process needs to be ingrained in your business. And risk planning. Again, the known risks. What's the organization's appetite for risk? So in order to determine how to mitigate or when to mitigate or make any response to risk, you need to know how risk tolerant you or your business is. Where do they stand, or where do you stand on the loss of money, loss of quality to what you're doing, impact to time, loss of reputation, loss of new sales or current clientele. All of these things are impacted. These are risk categories to think about when you're assessing what to do and whether or not one path works better than the other. Depends on your appetite. Money's not a problem. Okay. Money is a problem, but quality's not. Quality's huge and high on our value statement, so we'll take the time to adjust. Reputation is that's hands down top priority. So you need to kind of gauge and even put percentages, numbers, way to analyze and assess your risk. So that's a systematic rating system. There are hundreds of them out there. You can develop your own on a little Excel spreadsheet. Doesn't have to be fancy, but it has to be consistent and honest across all risks. And then you plan based on that. Do you mitigate the risk, which means reduce it from happening? Okay? So if it does happen, you can either reduce the likelihood, or if it does happen, you can reduce or mitigate the impact. You can accept the risk. Say, okay, we're going to lose time. I accept the fact that we're going to lose time. If it happens, great. We will just persevere. You can transfer the risk. And a very easy way to talk about transferring the risk is when you buy insurance, you transfer the risk of damage to person or property, health insurance or auto insurance or home insurance. So you're transferring the risk. So if it happens, you're taking care of it. Okay? You're going to make me whole again. Or risk avoidance. So if the risk is so high, it's hitting a loss of reputation and a loss of money, that is not acceptable, then you don't even do that activity that would make that risk occur. If at all possible, you completely avoid it. Does that make sense? There's your risk avoidance. So you make the risk cease to be possible. You mitigate. Some work is done on unacceptable risks to reduce either the probability or the impact. Transfer, your little insurance guy there. And then acceptance. The severity of the risk is so low, it's okay. You're going to accept it. Now, signs of trouble. Let's go through this. Certainly these are just some major signs, but when you take a look at your risk, please, what are your triggers? What are your early indicators that this is coming down the path, down the highway before it hits you? So money, for many, is the first indicator that there's a problem in business. Business is losing money, or it goes into debt, barely breaking even. Something is wrong. Unfortunately, money is hindsight. It's a retrospective perception. It's a retrospective review. Whatever is causing the problem is already there. It's a little bit more difficult to fix it. Employee attitudes. Pay attention to your employees if you have a small business or even a large. It's a good sign that there's something generally going wrong. Okay, so pay attention to what's happening. See if you can tap in and figure out the underlying wave, because your staff knows sometimes before you, and that is a little bit what I would call concurrent risk assessment. So money is retrospective, it's already happened. Employees' attitude, it is happening, it is concurrent. Another is customer value. So it's very important that the customer sees value in you and your organization. When you start to fail, you tend to shift, or some businesses, not you, but some businesses tend to shift their value statement to their customer, and then they start to lose even more customers. So be careful. Those surveys of your customer probably should be done more than once a year, at least informally, so you know what's going on. And then there are internal problems. When things start going wrong within a company, there are signs. Evidence such as confidential memos start going around. People start chit-chattering, at the coffee machine, right? The wrong people or bureaucracy start to take over. The wrong people are leading. There are negative attitudes occurring, and that internal problems with employee attitudes often kind of work together. So be careful that you're aware of the signs that are occurring, that just like your family, things have got to be feeling right, things have got to be looking right, and if not, get to the root before you have money problems. So action, what are some of the actions you can take? Okay, we talked about problems, we talked about risks. You want to definitely be sure you have key indicators. You have to have metrics that you're measuring daily, weekly, monthly, that impact information about the risks you've identified and the health of your organization. Develop various risk mitigation plans to address these issues. So more than one plan. There's more than one way to skin the cat. Make sure you have explored a few ways to address risk. Know that the issues will occur. You know that something always happens, so know that if you've identified the risk, there's a good chance one will occur, but you're ready, and it's okay. And you want to foster an atmosphere with your employees, with your vendors, with your customers of trust and not blame, to resolve issues, and always celebrate success. It's never somebody's fault. It's the process that causes an issue. And stay focused on values and the why of your business. Get back to basics before there's financial ruin. Always get back to basics. So, thank you very much for learning about CPR for your business today. I truly hope that you've heard some ideas that you can use in your business and in your career to make sure your organization stays healthy and productive. And I am Gail Kraft, author, presenter, coach, founder of Kraft Bravery and Your Business. Have a marvelous day. Thank you for sharing your time.